Sometimes the hazards in the workplace that you can't see are the deadliest. Radon is the colorless, odorless gas that's radioactive and is a large cause of lung cancers. According to Carex Canada scientist Cheryl, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancers after smoking. Employers must protect their workers by minimizing exposure and complying with provincial regulations on radon.
Health Canada estimates that about 15% of lung cancers are caused by radon, as well as sort of a workplace carcinogen for specific people. So people who work in mining, uranium mining specifically, because it's radioactive and it's produced from that process. But as well as just people who work in confined spaces that are close to the ground. Radon comes up out of the ground and seeps into buildings, and if it settles, if it has a chance to settle and not be well ventilated, then it's a problem. Workplaces with their primary duty to protect workers have to go by their provincial regulations. How radon is regulated differs so extremely by province, and in fact, many provinces don't even have anything set in place to protect sort of indoor workers. Almost everybody has something for people who are working with radiation all the time. Those limits tend to be rather high compared to what we want to have in a more general office setting. In Ontario, it's a little bit easier, which is good, in that the Ministry of Labour has adopted the NORM guidelines, the Naturally Occurring Radioactive Materials Guidelines of Health Canada. So there is a duty now to try to get workplaces, general indoor workplaces, below 200 becquerels per cubic meter, which is the same limit that we have in homes.
Fortunately, it's simple for employers to keep employees safe from radon exposure through air quality testing. If radon levels are too high, it can be mitigated with ventilation. This process not only keeps employees safe, but it's also fairly inexpensive.
There's this guideline that's put forth by Health Canada, and we did a review recently with the Canadian Environmental Law Association, and their legal reading of it is that every province probably should be tending to use that standard, just as part of the principle of reducing all carcinogen exposures in workplaces as low as reasonably achievable. In Ontario, the Ministry of Labour did adopt it this year, so here now, I think now it'll probably start to be more monitored and a little bit more inspected. It'll be on people's radar more, and I do hope that other provinces tend towards that as we go forward, because some places don't have anything in place for sort of indoor environments. So for miners, yes, they do have that. There are programs in place to try to reduce exposure and at least to monitor it over time. But in general indoor environments, it doesn't really stick anywhere else in the country.
If employers take preventative measures to reduce radon exposure, they'll be helping to reduce the future burden of lung cancers in workers. For Canadian Occupational Safety, I'm Amanda Silviker.